Yo, welcome to Guitar Vacation live stream edition on a Sunday. I only had 4,000 effects turned on, so I guess I better turn a couple of them off. All right. That's a little less reverby. What's up? A man with his own jam cave? You, sir, have the right idea. The question is, how often does your wife come in? Or try to come in? Yeah, I was a little busy for the normal Saturday, so I was actually trying to get a video done that I finally got done. It was a video I just put out about the rat. Wife stays out of there. You must have the room with the correct ambiance. She doesn't want any part of it. I don't have problems with my wife as much as my kids. It's like a closed door. Oh. Well, that just means I need to open the door before I ask the whatever crazy question I'm about to ask. That's kind of when you know you've made it in being a middle-class dude that plays guitar, when you have your own guitar room. I don't care anything about buying some kind of cool truck or car or anything like that. Not a gearhead. But man, having your own guitar or jam cave, I like that terminology, a jam cave. That's when you know you have truly been blessed in life. And you know, it doesn't have to all be about that's awesome, man. So you came with the guitar. The guitar was part of the deal. She knew what she was getting into. What kind of stuff you into playing? I'm a serial noodler, in case you can't tell. Kind of like Chael Sonnen, the retired MMA fighter, says he never lost a round. I never played a single song. Not once. A little bit of everything. Good deal. Yeah, I mean, really, I'm very similar because, you know, like you grow up playing the classics, your Led Zeppelins, your Creams, your Hendrix, and, you know, then you hear Van Halen and, you know, so most guitar players within a certain age bracket, it's like they it's like you come from that rock place, you know, and then, you know, you may progress into whatever, or you may not, you know. I think trying to play oh, that's awesome, man. Got some dudes in there throwing down. That just brings a special feeling to know that there's a 72 or 74-year-old dude showing up getting a jam. You know that I want to be that guy, and it'll probably be quicker than I realize, but I talk about my dad on here all the time because he plays. Ah, okay, cool. Well, dude, that is awesome. If I can be like you when I hit my 70s, I'll be a happy man. My dad's closer to your age. I'm in my mid-40s, and he plays and he plays more now because he's retired than he ever had. When he retired, he started taking jazz lessons because that was like something we were always wanting to do, but never had the any formal training in it. We learned what we could, and yeah, I'll tell you, that is one thing I miss where I am in my life now, and maybe that's could be one of the reasons I jumped on the old YouTubes here. Is I do miss playing with other musicians, and I could probably, I might be able to do it. It's just the work job kids thing is so all encompassing at this stage in my life. It's hard to get that many people on the same page that all are kind of into the same music and that get along, and that can have fun together musically. But I think I'll be there again one day. My dad sure did. He started the lessons. He's been retired for several years now, and now he plays with an ensemble every week. And that just is awesome. So you're like a hero to me. Still, you and Keith Richards are still holding it down. Of course, Keith Richards is only 100 years older than you. So you kind of had the same thing going on when kids grow up, leave the house, and you have a little bit more time. Yeah, I think that's probably going to be in my future. I was looking this week, yeah, Keith, he's still doing his thing, man. Yeah, they're on tour now, I think, and everybody's saying he's out there singing background vocals, playing his Keith Richard one finger alternate tune chords like he always has been. I wonder, yeah, it's the joy of music, I think, is a big part of it. Having that thing in your life that, if you really think about, well, me anyway, if I think about what music is outside of trying to be a guitar player or a musician, it's like the most pure form of emotion that you can either communicate or can be communicated to you. That's kind of what it is to me. And I think for that reason, it does keep you young, because you can be getting up and your back's hurting and you say, oh, I'm getting old, but you can hear that song that came out when you were 16 and have whatever going on in your life, having your first summer job, or dating some long forgotten girl, and it can take you right back there. The music can. What is your what's your channel? Is it on this sign on the Roadies Jam Cave sign on? Sounds like it might be right up my alley. Okay, cool. I'll definitely check it out. I'll drop you a sub too, man. I am definitely in the game of supporting guys my age and older that are still rocking. It's an elite group. Only those of us that were too stubborn are still left. I was going to see if I could cue up another backing track. I'll tell you, man, I started using trying to figure out how to do this and use Logic Pro, because I'm a lot more familiar with Logic Pro and doing the audio stuff with it. And man, there were a lot of gremlins to work out. And then you think you got them worked out, and you come back and one settings return to default. Let's see. So hopefully I will be able to pop one of my handy dandy backing tracks in here. And I make the backing tracks just for fun, I don't want to have to fool with copyright and all that kind of stuff. And it's good practice for me. Let's see what this one is. Had to remember what key it was in. I'm a habitual whammy abuser. All right, hit me with your question, big dog. What you got? Well, I'm not against taking requests. However, I'm a dude that is. I've been so habitually lazy about learning songs over the years that I may or may not know the song. But if you throw it out there, I can see what we can do. Rody, when you're talking about, so y'all use the mixer, and what do you mic all the instruments and all that goes into a mixer into an iPhone? That's pretty cool. If that's what y'all are doing, dude, it's frankly amazing that that the iPhone, that we're in a place where you can do that with a phone, you know? Something we would have never dreamed of. But yeah, Elec, you can definitely hit me with a request, and if I can figure out a way to do it, we can at least talk about it. Man, I've never heard that song. I do remember the band. They're kind of like I don't want to say emo metal, but they're like a melodic metal with a little bit of that pop punk vocal. Am I thinking of the right genre? Rody, are you guys still using like tube amps and stuff, or are you have y'all switched up to doing some amp modeling and that kind of thing? Sorry, I didn't realize I was muted, guys. Dummy. Eli, if I was trying to remember, I've heard of Bullet, but they're kind of like a metal band with some pop kind of vocal elements, maybe. Not necessarily like emo, but am I thinking of the right genre? Okay. Tube amps. Awesome. Old school. You know, it really is amazing. You can try the modeling stuff, and you can't go wrong old school, man. You know, and if you think about the newer tech, it's how close does it sound to a tube amp? That's the metric, right? And you know, yeah, there's some flexibility and convenience, but something that, like, I feel like I can get good sounds out of modeling stuff, but it doesn't feel right. And I know that's such a like guitar esotericism thing. It doesn't feel right. What's that mean? But Elec, yeah, I would have to woodshed, listen to that song and probably practice it, to be honest with you, to play it. I played heavier stuff as a when I was younger, like my Slayer and Death were my favorite heavy bands, and you know, played all the thrash stuff, some death metal stuff, but I actually talk about this in one of my videos about playing fingerstyle. That's one of the things when I switched to playing with my fingers that I can just not do anymore is play metal. And I can't get that those quick palm muted. That's the one sound I can't do using my fingers. But you know, I'm not really playing that heavy stuff anymore. I probably fit right in at Rhodey's Jam Cave. All right, good deal. And the other thing about the modeling stuff, I have to hear my guitar from a guitar speaker. I mean, IRs sound great, don't get me wrong, but like I could see myself running something through an IR, you know, amps that have multiple routing capabilities, running the IR out to the front of house. But I would still want to monitor myself with an actual cabinet with a guitar speaker. Like if I'm playing even with a good IR and I'm hearing myself through the studio monitors, I can do it, but it's not the same. Well, guitar players are funny, man. We get hung up on weird stuff, but analog solid state isn't bad to me. It feels fine. I remember when I first kind of got my little home recording going, and when I say that, yeah, you know, you just can't go wrong plugging into a tube amp. I mean, that's even the best modelers, that's what they're trying to sound like. And then can they feel like that? But I just kind of gotten started, just recording for the fun of it. I don't know how to sound engineer and mix or anything. And I got Helix Native because my cousin, he's a pro player and a lot better than me. But I'm proud of him, man. He's like, he's one of those close cousins that's more like a little brother. But, he's doing the fly-in gig thing, and he's like, dude, it's just so easy to have a guitar and a Helix in a backpack. That takes so many variables out. I was like, yeah, I get it. So, dude, Pete, I've been looking for a PV Bandit. For the people are starting to get a little proud of them because they realize, yeah, they are good. And you used to be you couldn't trip over one for that wasn't $100, and now people are selling the Red Stripe Bandit $350. I'm like, nah, I need it for a living room amp. But I got this little Black Star all digital, and I guess it's fine to practice through. It's got delay and stuff, but I just don't like the way it feels, and I have been looking for a Bandit. Oh man, cool. The Hughes and Kettner Deluxe 40. I don't know that I'm familiar with that one. So are you using the Hughes and Kettner for your wet, for your echoes and reverbs courses, and running your dried signal through the Twin? But yeah, I'm waiting to see one pop up not too far from me for like $150. And it doesn't matter how old it is. Those things are like bulletproof. That's cool, man. I've never done the wet dry thing. I may be in a position gear wise to do it if I wanted to try it. But I've never tried it. I've obviously read a lot about it. Like Scott Henderson, that's another player that's like Jeff Beck, responsible for my habitual whammy bar abuse. But Scott Henderson, he uses a wet dry rig, and he'll have I think he's got a custom Sur amp that he plays when he's playing close to where he lives, and then he'll backlines like just a Marshall DSL or something like that, and run that as his dry. And then he's got an old Boss, I'm trying to remember, the SC70 maybe. It's like a half rack, and he does his delays and stuff through there, and I think most of all his wet effects, and he just goes into a Hot Rod Deluxe, just for the wet. You're gonna get me in trouble, because you're gonna make me expand my gear to try wet dry, because it is attractive to me. And I do like stereo, but I can definitely see the appeal of not having, like, especially delay and reverb, having that through a totally different amp and not clouding your signal, especially in the sense if your pickups are interacting with the amp, I was actually, it's funny you mentioned that, because I was looking at power supplies, pedal board power supplies this week, because I'm thinking about doing a effects loop, basically splitting my board up into two. One's going to be everything that goes in front of the amp, all the dirt pedals and stuff. And then I was thinking about putting my delays, reverb, modulation on a different pedal board with a different pedal supply, or power supply. Because I don't like, when I do the 4-cable method, all those cables coming back to my main board. It's just a little unwieldy. But that would really incorporate well if I did that, to go in wet dry. And I don't use, I'm a delay on all the time guy. Yeah, same here. I'm always have all my delays and chorus after. But I like to use some big reverb sometimes. Oh shoot. That chord was that was a jazz chord. It was altered. Do you have your wet effects on the same board? I use a little bit of chorus. for that kind of swell stuff. And you know, I don't have the Dan Huff, Michael Landau chorus going on, but dude, you're just like me, delay on all the time. I use delay, like my first delay is basically like I use it like most people would use a reverb. And then that goes into my reverb, which truthfully I don't use reverb, and I use it as an effect. I don't do like a light spring reverb or anything. And then I run another delay that's a little more colored after that. Okay. So that's not too bad for the 4 cable. That's not too unwieldy. And I could do the same thing. I'm just trying to, you know how us gearheads do. We want to make problems where there's not problems. You can't go wrong with that. I was talking with my dad about the SD1 day before yesterday on the phone. Because I mean, you can get them all day long for $50, and they're not much more used. But well, you got the best of both worlds. You got the tube screamer with a symmetrical clipping. And then you got the SD1 with the asymmetrical clipping. And then you got the Blues Driver, which can pretty much dial in. You can get, the Blues Driver is a really versatile pedal. I didn't realize that, because it's also one of those pedals that is easy to make it sound bad if you don't know how to tweak it. Oh man. You can get any color you want with that setup. I bet that twin with that running it wet dry sounds good. Yeah, I gotta lose the chorus. It's getting on my nerves. I like chorus in small doses. Yeah, I use reverbs like this. Got some modulation or whatever going on, and so shoot, you can get your tones and not blow the windows out with volume. Are you using the, is it one of those new Tone Master Twins? I think one day for one of these streams, I'm just going to get out a bunch of dirt pedals. Oh, okay. I was wondering. So those twins, you can switch the wattage on. That is cool. Yeah, I bet that sounds awesome, man. Yeah, you're getting me thinking about trying to do wet dry. That's how it starts. The next thing you know, you're getting Sweetwater packages at the door, and it's like you don't know what happened. If I were to do that, the biggest thing I would have to decide, like, I've got a 1x12 cabinet that I love the way it sounds, and I've been using it for years. It's got an Eminence Texas Heat speaker in it. Love the way that speaker sounds, and it's a really efficient loud speaker. So the HK, it just goes directly like to the PA. I mean, you probably get a little bit of it in a monitor or something. You know, it's funny you say that about the 2x12. When I got that, my 112 cabinet that I've had for years and years now, I was actually, my plan was to get a 2x12. And I can't remember, I wound up getting the 1x12. It's a Mojo Tone 112 cab. And some gear exchange I did. Okay, so you monitor it from a cab too. That's a cool setup, man. And so I've got a 1x12 that I use almost all the time. My other cabinet is left from my loud days. It's a 412. It's not a bad cabinet. It's a old 5150 cabinet. The speakers in them, I'm not a fan of. They're the PV Sheffields, and you know, they were fine when I was doing heavier stuff all the time with a bunch of power chords and stuff. But I've really gotten spoiled by the Texas Heat speaker. It really does a good job of it's soft in the highs. It doesn't have those highs that you, sir, are a real guitar player. We all got the 4x12s that we don't use anymore. But I don't, my rig's pretty portable too. So I think I would not use the 4x12 if I were to do wet dry, because I would first have to replace the speakers. But I like having the rig kind of in pieces, and having a 1x12 speaker cabinet is just not that big of a deal. So I would probably get just another 112, and I might even get the same speaker, or I might if it's just for wets, it may be beneficial to get a different color of speaker. But the possibilities with that are endless. The bad thing with me, it's even just to take, if you take gigging out of the equation, which I hadn't played, I joke on, my videos and stuff that no living human has ever seen me play guitar. But, when I was younger, I didn't, things like load in and load out, just, it wasn't that big of a deal to me. But even now, if, not gigging, I may want to go jam at my buddy's house, or, I still go jam with my dad. And having that portability, it's a lot better than toting around a doggone 4x12. I mean, and for what? How loud are we gonna play? My ears are getting sensitive. But I would probably get another 112 cabinet, and I'm already using the Synergy. I'm in the Synergy ecosystem. So I'm a big Bogner. Bogner's been a big part of my tone for a long time, so I use the Bogner Ecstasy module. But I was already kind of thinking about getting like a Fryette. Yeah, toting around a Hammond. It's only worth it because of how it sounds. That's cool though. Your brother played too. So I guess you and your brother had the band thing going, huh? I wish, like, I took piano lessons for about 5 minutes as a kid. And I have a little MIDI keyboard that I'll lay down some very non-complicated keyboard stuff, and I always try to make it sound like John Lord and Deep Purple. That's when if I break out the MIDI keyboard, it's going to be for that. And I tell you, man, it's crazy what software can do. I remember trying to record in the early 2000s, and I was just happy to be able to multi-track, and it sounded like crap, and I never recorded a drummer. I'd get, like, I remember ordering CDs that were had samples of drum loops on them, and that's how I would do the drums. And now with Logic Pro, it's got the drummer, which you do have to either get, in my opinion, you have to get some additional software that sounds a little better. But as far as Logic's drummer making patterns that are good, It's pretty amazing. You know, you can make it. What I usually do is you can make it follow one of your instrument tracks, and that seems to be the best way to get it to do a non-canned. Oh man! So that's a fresh wound, my friend. May he rest in peace. I've got brothers. I'm the oldest, and I plan on dying first. Let's just say that, because that's one of those life stage things, man. When I'm finally hit the age where my peers, their moms and dads are passing away and stuff. And you just look and you're like, man, I was this young up and comer, and now I'm not. I may be the old guy in the room. And then you're having the situation where your siblings are, dealing with health and stuff like that. Life is a ever evolving experience. Yeah, man. Wow. Yeah, I bet y'all were close, being that close together in age too. When you have that's my next brother is about the same age distance away, and there's just a closeness in a relationship there that if somebody else doesn't have it, you can't explain to them how deeply another human being can understand you when they grew up with you, really from the time you were babies. A good marriage, a good long-term marriage is something where you reach a level of intimacy that you can't recreate, again. But nobody knows you like your brother, and hot rods and music. You still dabble in the gearhead game? You got something cool sitting in the old garage? I was never a big car guy, but my son is, and it's funny, man. He he never gave a crap about guitar or music. I mean, he listens to like rap and stuff, and he'll try to show me, well, this rap artist is different, you know. Oh, yeah, you got some classic in there. That's that's something any good American would like to have in their garage. But yeah, my son, he he's 18 now, and he's in the cars, and it's weird. It's like I that was never that big of a deal to me. And when he got a job, he got a I can't even remember the numbers they're using now, but whatever the Nissan Z is now, is it the 350 or 370, or it's like a doggone go-kart. Nice. Took care of those bad boys. You know, I've only got really, I'd say, outside of guys I work with that I've been working with for over 20 years, two close friends that, you know, are still left over from childhood and teenage years. But one of them, he's a car guy, and he had a Monte Carlo that is going to be that same body style, and his was the Dale Earnhardt edition. It was black and had kind of red trim on it. And of course, it was after Senior had passed away. But man, that was a cool, fun car. I mean, you got the SS too. Yeah, that'll make that could make somebody that has a Honda with a bunch of stickers and a giant muffler on it, that could hurt their feelings. Pulling up next to you in that Monte Carlo SS. And that's, you know, my son was talking about, yeah, you're not in the car, but what if you won the lottery? What would you buy? You know. And I was like, I'm such a redneck. Oh, you've seen those Dale editions? Yeah, he ended up trading it, and he got into something else that was pretty cool. But I liked the Monte Carlo. That body style was really cool, and they, you know, the light cars, yeah, they're fast, but there is a certain joy to having the good old American muscle with a giant motor and a heavy frame, and there's a certain beauty to how those handle. And some of it is, and you know how they're going to fishtail a little bit. These little foreign cars, they're lighter and faster, and they hug the road. But yeah, my son was asking, if you won the lottery, what would you buy car wise? And I said I would get a older model, like early 2000s Ford Ranger, and put like a big block Chevy V8 in it and replace everything inside, because of course that would, from transmission to, you'd have to redo everything. Yeah, man. I mean, a V8 in a car that's got some body to it is, I'm like, that's what I would want to drive if I had to drive fast. I've driven my son's little Nissan, and it was like, this little light car being able to go that fast, it doesn't feel right to me. It's almost kind of like very similar to what we were talking about with tube amps and modelers. It's like, yeah, it gets there, but it just is not quite it's not quite the experience that I know and love. Oh man, that when I was younger, and I did like muscle cars. I never had one or anything, but I admired them. And a Chevelle was like the pinnacle for me. I had a friend, his dad had a GTO that was really nice, that he had restored, and it was I don't think I ever saw the man drive it. It was definitely a garage queen. But I always thought the Chevelle was the stuff. Kind of like the El Camino too. If they're you can make a El Camino a really, really cool hot rod. Yep, those old cars where you could open up, you could pour the gas right into the carburetor. You run out of gas and it's not primed up, you just pour it straight in. That's awesome, man. How long were you in the Army? Did you do your infantry training at Fort Benning? That's called Fort Moore now. The reason I ask is that Fort Benning is the reason I'm on this earth. I come from a family of vets, and that's what I had planned on doing. Like when I was in high school, I was like, yeah, I'm joining the Army. And summer before my senior year, I met a girl. Okay, yeah. My dad, he was an artillery guy, and I always remember him going to Fort Sill. When he was in the National Guard. But so my grandfather was a lifer. He retired as a lieutenant colonel, but he met my grandmother when he was at Fort Benning, and she was a kind of a country girl from Macon, Georgia. It's kind of funny. I'm from a family of, really, we're Irish working class. And so him being a good Irishman that was in the Army, he did something, I don't even know what it was, but he had a legal challenge arise from doing what we do best, drinking the old whiskey. And my grandmother worked in, she was like the secretary in the lawyer's office he hired so he wouldn't get skin up too bad. Well, no, man, salute to you. You did your time for my freedom. But so he got stationed, he was at Fort Benning for a while. And they eventually got married, of course. And in their wedding photo, he's in his Class A's and has a neck brace on because he got hurt doing a jump. So he got married with a neck brace on from jumping out of an airplane. Yeah, man, it's a small world. I really, I admire my dad a lot, and my grandfather on that side. He died when I was a kid, of course. I mean, that man was high mileage. He was fought in 3 wars and retired, and then he was a college professor after that. So by the time I knew him, I didn't know the guy that was the the probably pretty bad dude in the Army. We called him Opa. He was a language professor, and that's, I think that's Italian for grandpa. And, I just have so many fond memories of him. And men like that and men like you from your generation, there's something that don't get enough appreciation, because I don't want to start being the old man yelling at the clouds, but there's so many young men and young fellas becoming the age of men that don't have that sense of value that guys like you and guys my grandfathers had, and I aspire still to be one of those guys, in this crazy modern world. Yeah, man, those guys, they came back from World War II or Korea or Vietnam. And, the mental health thing was not a thing back then. They would say you're shell shocked. And there wasn't any like, oh, you need to go get medicated or be able to see a professional about it. It was a lot of those guys handled their shell shock, not the healthiest ways, granted, but they still do. And I say that I am so glad now that for our guys that have fought and served for my freedom, that we do recognize, hey, when you see and are around some sure enough bad stuff, that sticks with you, and there's things you need to help you live a happier, more normal life after you've done some very extraordinary things. Oh, man. I bet your dad would, if you, your dad sounds like the type of fella that if he went into a bar, nobody messed with him. And if they did, the whole bar got shut down. Man, when the sailors of that era, when they hit the port, different kind of men, different kind of experiences. Yeah, it was like PTSD wasn't even you never even heard of such a thing. And no doubt in my mind, it's a real thing, and a thing that we need to take care of our folks that have served, that go through it. But guys back from that other era, I guess, your cure was a bottle of whiskey, or and they never had a second thought about doing that and getting up and going to work the next day. Special kind of man from that generation. My grandfather, and this is according to my dad, because he got to see him through all of it. He said, he caught the end of World War II, so that wasn't that bad. It was more of a picking up the pieces by the time he was in that deployment. Korea was bad, and I didn't even realize how hellish Korea was. Yeah, or you're exactly right. Or they just keep it inside, and that stuff manifests itself in your life at some point. But according to my dad, my grandfather, Vietnam was the one that really bothered him. And I don't know if it was, what he did in Vietnam, or because of the way the nation, they were, a lot of the younger crowd treated those guys like they were war criminals and, all that. I don't know if it was that, but that's what my dad says. That's the one that really changed him. But, from my experience being his grandson, I have zero negative memories of the man. Now he was going to be stopping at the Roosters party shop every day. I didn't realize what he was doing, but he was getting him a little something to wind down with, and it's kind of funny we're talking about it. I got on my phone, I'm watching a preliminary Golden Boy boxing card that I guess was probably yesterday. I just kind of have it on in the background. But he's what got me into watching boxing. And he would, yeah, you're exactly right. It was stigmatized. You didn't talk about it. If you did have what we now know as PTSD going on, you didn't. You kept it in and didn't talk about it because people didn't recognize, hey, that's, and your peers, they didn't recognize it, and they may even have it too, but it was just, hey, we're tough, we fought in wars, and we're powering through this, and we're not going to let that, not the best way, but it made for a hell of a tough bunch of generation of men. But my grandfather would get the boxing pay-per-views way back when, and he had his own room, like you have your jam cave, and I have my little guitar room. And he had a room that, was his kind of TV watching room, and he had his books and all that. But I would sit on his lap in the recliner and watch boxing pay-per-views with him. And I didn't think about it until later on in life that, you know, I think that's what gave me a love for boxing and combat sports, you know. Yeah. You just got up and went to work. Whether you just got up and powered through it. Hey, he's shell shocked. He don't shake him awake, he might choke you. You know, there was stuff like that I knew about my grandfather. Yeah, he's got a bayonet in his nightstand by his bed. I don't, you know, to me, that, okay, yeah, Opa fought in wars, he's got a bayonet. That's because, you know, even in his later years, that crap didn't go away. But yeah, you did not go up if he was taking a nap and roused him out of sleep. That's it, man. It really is a sanctuary. It's where you go, and our man stuff is guitars, and you got cars, and you know, you're able to enjoy that sometimes by yourself, sometimes with others, and it gives you that little bit of time in your life to live in the present and let the stresses go away. No matter what you got going on. You know what Jimmy said? I still got my guitar. It didn't matter if he couldn't get back in the door. He still had his guitar. Yeah, she locked him out. She couldn't take that away from him, though. You know, it's funny we're talking about that. Friday, I had, you know, normal stressful day at work, you know, just work stuff, you know, and got home and I was trying to work on the last video I put up about the rat pedal. It took me a long time to make because I was, you know, I'm kind of learning to do all this stuff as I go. I'm not a tech guy. And so I was trying to do some things I'd not done on a previous video. And Friday afternoon, had the chance to sit down and kind of work out the gremlins and make some headway. And I'm in my sanctuary, and I got a call from my boss. This day and age of cell phones, you never really can get it, but it turned out not to be any big deal, but it's just kind of funny. Rody, man, I can't tell you how much I've enjoyed shooting the breeze and talking a little guitar, talking a little life, and just enjoying having a good conversation with a good fella. And I really appreciate you stopping in and listening. And, you know, it's not often that you get in a good conversation where you are able to remember some good times and I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm about to hop off. I'm gonna look your channel up because I already wish I was in your jam cave. That sounds right up my alley. But I'm gonna pop off the stream anyway. But thanks again, man, for stopping by and making this awesome stream. You did. And I really enjoyed talking with you. And I want to be you when I catch up to you in age. You got a few years on me, but if I can have what you got going on when I'm where you are, I'll be a happy man. I'm a happy, blessed man now, but I want to be a happy, blessed man then too. So, hey man, enjoyed it, and I'm sure I'll holler at you again sometime. For everybody else, thank you for watching in the present. Yeah, nice to meet you, man. Anybody who watches in the present, thank you, and anybody who may watch in the future, happy guitar vacation. Enjoy your guitar, and hopefully you got a guitar jam cave as cool as my man. Alright guys, later. Y'all enjoy the rest of Sunday. Talk to you soon.